Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Cheers. Got my trusty Beatles mug today. Grab your guitar, get tuned up. This is going to be a monster session today. I've got time because I have a cancellation for my private lesson. So we're going to hit all this Girl From Ipanema, drop 2 chord voicings, subs, hacks. Here's my E. Here's my other E. Type in the chat so I know who's here. And don't forget to do this if you enjoy these live stream lessons. These are kind of good practice sessions, I consider them. So I hope you definitely grab your guitar. If you checked out part 1 for this particular live stream series, I went through the chord inversions on the top 4 strings, drop 2 voicings for the A section to the Girl From Ipanema. The sound slice link is in the description. If you go to that link, it'll take you to Patreon, and you don't have to sign up. You can join for free, but then that post contains the link, and then you can practice with it. And I'm going to add more to it today during this live stream. We're going to cover the B section, which is considered very challenging, but I'm going to make it simple for you to learn how to memorize the B section. I'll wait to see if anybody types in the chat here to see who's here today, see how long this session is going to be. I'm still going to go through the whole B section, so just grab your guitar. Keith is here. Welcome, Keith. Good to see you. Oh, by the way, if you're watching it on Patreon, because I embedded the link into Patreon, please make sure that you watch it on YouTube. I always say this, but I know there are many of you who don't understand that it doesn't. You can't communicate with me on the live stream unless you click on the YouTube, and then it takes you to YouTube. So it actually needs to say YouTube in your web browser, not patreon.com. So please be sure to click over so you're watching this on YouTube. And of course, thank you for being a Patreon member. These lessons are primarily for Patreon members. Of course, these often just stay on YouTube land for a long time. But this coincides with private lessons that I've been offering. Dave, if you're watching this, these lessons are inspired from our lessons, our private lessons. The Girl From Ipanema is the most popular jazz bossa nova song, period, probably in my book. It's also very challenging. So it's a really great study to learn. It'll teach you so much. If you had like 5 songs to master on the guitar for jazz guitar, Girl From Ipanema. Let's see, what else do I always say? Autumn Leaves, Blue Bossa, Fly Me to the Moon, Minor Swing, Sweet George Brown. That, at least for the early jazz guitar style, is the basics. All the Things You Are. Those are all just classic songs that offer a variety of concepts. Okay, so I'm going to just go in and start with the routine. Many of you on Patreon already can do this pretty well now. And my private students all have these down, but I always just start off with this. The routine is for drop 2 chord inversions on the top 4 strings. Okay, the top 4 strings are the most important and the easiest to play as well. And this also translates beautifully for the ukulele. If you played this shape on the uke, it'd be a 4th higher. You'd be on C major 7. And if you did this, that'd be C major 7. You did this, that'd be C major 7. So if you're a ukulele player, if you're watching this, by the way, I have a specific Patreon ukulele channel, www.patreon.com, Tracy Kim Uke. And that has all my ukulele materials and lessons on there. But this stuff translates beautifully to the ukulele. So you would just be in the key of B flat instead of the key of F, which is the standard key for Girl From Ipanema. So I'm right here on G. And I'm going to go through the routine just as a good warm-up with you. G major 7, G7, G minor 7, G minor 7 flat 5, and G dim 7. Okay, we'll just stick to the 7th chords. Let's not do the 6s right now. G major 7. This is the 3rd on top. G7, G minor 7, G minor 7 flat 5, and G dim 7. Hopefully this is just by rote for you by now. G major 7, G7, G minor 7, G minor 7 flat 5, doesn't hurt to say it, and G dim 7. G major 7, G7, G minor 7, G minor 7 flat 5, and G dim 7. And again, notice that the dim 7s, they're the only inversion that stays the same regarding the shape, the formation of it. Okay, that's very important to know. And let's go ahead and do the sixes, because I consider sixth chords just as important as seventh chords. And a sixth chord actually is a seventh chord as an inversion. So G major 7, G major 6. And you can also call that E minor 7. That's a relative. That's very important for you to know. Okay, so G major 7, G major 6, G minor 7, and G minor 6. This is so important. I'm going to show you as we dive deep today into the B section of the Girl From Ipanema. I'm going to show you some hacks, how you can actually just do that in the B section. You're following the changes. It's amazing. G major 7, third on top, G6, G minor 7, G minor 6. Next inversion, G major 7 is like this, G major 6. Again, these are E minors. If I put E in the bass, it magically becomes E minor 7, same four notes. So cool. G minor 7, G minor 6. Okay, and G minor 6 equals B minor 7 flat 5, by the way, if I didn't say that already. G major 7, G major 6. It's really nice to start with the 7, and then G minor 7 and G minor 6. Just, it's so nice to practice that. Major 7, major 6, minor 7, minor 6. That's great study. Major 7, etc. Just do that. That's what I call the chord inversion routine on the top four strings there. I'm going to wait to see who else is here. Don't forget to do this if you enjoy these live streams. And type in the chat. Let's see who's here. That was the chord routine. We're going to hit the... I'm actually going to give you a little preview on the B section of how to use those, what I just showed you there, as subs for the actual changes. It's pretty brilliant. Actually, I'll show you on the A section, since we covered the A section last time. So you know how the first chord is F major 7? F major 7, right? So if the first chord is F major 7 and the next chord is G7, well, you could sub that out, the two dominant there. You could sub that out, that G7, and make it a G9 chord. Okay, G9. So if you think about what I'm going to play it up here just to show you the demonstration, here's G9. So on a G9 formation, what you have here, if you got rid of the G, you're left with the B minor 7 flat 5 chord. This is my 10th fret, by the way, here. That's my 9th fret. So you're left with this formation. Okay, here's G9. But if you took away the root, if you want to play it with me here, that could be called a B minor 7 flat 5 or a D minor 6. D minor 6, do you get it? D minor 6. It's G9, just without the root. So if the first chord was F major 7, and we know that F major 6 is equal to D minor 7, that could be used for the first chord of the song. And then when it goes to the G7 chord, you go to D minor 6. So that's brilliant. You could just kind of stay on D and go D minor 7 for the F6. Add on that note if you want, just a night. And then D minor 6. So you can do that everywhere. D minor 7, D minor 6. Okay, that makes sense. D minor 7, D minor 6. And that you're playing the changes. And then you got to go to G minor 7. And then do that. And that's similar to the B section too. We can go G flat major 7. I'm going to talk about the B section today. That's what today's lesson about. The next chord is B7, but you can make it B9, and that would give you this chord. So essentially, you're going G flat major 7 to G flat minor 6. Did I say that correctly? I hope so. Type in the chat. Let's see who's here. I know it's an early morning session. Okay, so let's go ahead and work through the inversions now. I'm going to load up my sound slice so that you can actually see it on the screen and do it with me. It's kind of like a little private lesson here. So we did the A section already last time. So here, we could get rid of the 12 times. And here's the B section. While I'm doing this, feel free to practice the routine or type in the chat. Better yet, love to see who's watching. I'd love to see some familiar names in the chat there. Love to see who's on my Patreon community already. I know many of you are on Patreon. I've got 5,400 lessons on Patreon. Enough to keep you busy for the winter, or if you're in Australia for the summer. Okay, let's see. Second ending here. All right, so on the second ending, we're going to stay on that F major 7. Let me do some copying, pasting. And we're not going to review this, so please just review the previous live stream. We're going to hit the B section only today. These are your inversions right here. I'm just making sure we've got the grids for you. I know y'all love the grids too for the F major 7 inversions. And now, bam, we're at the B section, goes up a half step. There is some logic to this if you're wondering, and we'll talk a little bit about this. I do have a deeper lesson where I talk about it in depth as far as if you want to check that out. Just all about the B section to the Girl From Ipanema. Let me just get these grids up here for you. Okay, so here's the B section. I'll go ahead and just label it too. And so we're going to just hit these inversions here. And what I can do, I could be lazy about it, just copy and paste, but I'm not going to be lazy. I'll walk you through this since this is a live stream, and I want to make sure you get this down. So G flat major 7, and you can call it F sharp. Let's say I'm not sure what this program's gonna sound slice is gonna call it once I put the note in, but G flat root 3rd 5th 7. That's what we want to be able to practice. Okay, just G flat. I mean, how often do you play? Really, seriously, how often do you play in G flat? Me, only this song is the only song I could really think of that I've ever played a G flat major 7 chord. So rare. G flat major 7, 3rd, 5th, 7. Go backwards. Set up a loop so you're doing this. And go root, 3rd, 5th, 7, 5th, 3rd, root. Just have fun with that to get it familiar. So I'm going to write these here if you're wondering. This is G flat major 7, and I'll put these as half notes because we have 2 measures. That way you can. It doesn't matter, obviously when you're playing. This is just for your reference here. So that's the root, and notice it did put G flat. Here's your 3rd. Here's the 5th, and here is the seventh degree of it. That's going to be here. Oops. So let me get that back on there. And then we need the shape. So that's the thing. So you want to map out your arpeggio first. So, there's some basic music theory, like you got to be able to spell a chord. Knowing the shapes are one thing, but if you have the wrong note, then it doesn't matter. Root, third, fifth, seven. You got to do that. The arpeggio. Root, third, fifth, seven. And as many of you know, I'm always talking about the top note because that's like the chord melody. You got the top note, the soprano voice, the high note is the main note, the melody note. Okay. These shapes as I'm writing it. Here's just a little morning practice session for you. I'm also going to talk about some cool subs. This one's a beast, and again, I'll show you a sub that I like to use for this shape here, with a fifth on top. Let me put the grids too so you can see it, not just the tabs. And again, this is just like F major 7, and even that's a great practice, going from F major 7 to G flat major 7, just going up a half step. You could set this up on your iReal Pro loop or your loop pedal, like just by practicing this. G, F major 7, G flat major 7, F major 7, G flat major 7. You know what I'm saying? Just going up a half step. Maybe go backwards too. Just get it down so you're, and then go half step. Okay, this really, really helps just by doing that, making these small little practice vamps. A vamp means a little basic chord progression, a little 2-bar progression, 4-bar, kind of mainly just staying. A vamp is really not a long chord progression. It could be, I guess, but typically it's like 1 or 2 chords. You're vamping on the chord. That's the term vamp. So the next chord now is we're going to do face value. And what I mean by face value is what it says on the chart. So if it says B7 on the chart, we're going to just play the B7. However, we're going to also reduce it. So if it says B9, we're going to play B7. But, that's where those subs come in. Like I was saying earlier, that you can sub out chords on B9. You can think D sharp minor 7 flat 5. Okay. Or sharp minor 6. So let's go ahead and do B9. Here's the fifth on top. Let's do the arpeggio. Here's B. Here's a flat 7 going backwards. Here's a fifth. Third. So again, I'm just having fun spelling their chords so I know what the notes are. Those are my target notes. So here's my fifth. I'm going to start there. And here's the root. These are going to be half notes. We have 2 bars each. And then I'm going to go to the next note, the root. Let's get the half note here. And here's the third, the D sharp. They called it E flat. Should be called a D sharp if we're spelling it correctly. And this should be called E flat, F sharp. That's just spelling purposes. So now we got to put the shape to it. The B7 inversions. B7, 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 B7. Okay, so let's get those shapes down. Let me know in the comments how you guys are doing with these inversions. I know many of you have the routine down, the shapes, but the fun part is to apply it to your favorite standards, like the Girl From Ipanema in this case. It's challenging and fun, both. Like, start off with learning that routine and then do my lessons on the different songs that I have this. I've got a lot of materials on this, obviously, on various songs. But I always recommend starting off the 12-bar blues for dominant chords. I'll demonstrate that in a second as I check the chat to see who else is watching and hopefully commenting. I'd like to see some names. If you're just tuning in, welcome. Okay, so these are your B7 inversions. Let me just finish these first here. So again, that's with the fifth on top then the flat 7 on top, then the root on top, and this sound slice is spelling it incorrectly because it doesn't know that I want the B7 and that needs to be an F sharp. And then the third on top. Let me put the grids here for you too, because I know we all love the grids too, right? Trying to make sure I have grids for everything for you, for the more visual player, instead of just reading the tabs. So again, these are your B7 inversions, and I'm going to save this and kind of just show you again the B section. Just this much of it alone is good practice. G flat major 7, B7. Again, you can just stay in one area. Oh, see, I did my sub. It's hard for me to just do face value. I did this at the B9. B7 is this, but I did B9. And that's, if you're going to look at it later, you say, oh, isn't that a minor 7 flat 5, or it could be called a minor 6 chord? And that's where we can do the subs, okay? And that's super fun. You can do, you can sub out and create ninth chord flavors by doing what I was showing you at the beginning here. Let me check the comments and see who's here and have a sip of coffee. Oh, Keith, it's just you, bud. You get a private lesson today. Cheers to Keith. Yeah, if there's anyone else here, type in the comments so I know who's watching. And that way I'll keep these live streams going if folks are tuning in and enjoying these. Tiago, hey, good to see you. I don't know you, but welcome here. Tiago. Keith, yeah. I know this isn't Gypsy Jazz today, but we'll do a Gypsy Jazz one next time. That lesson we did the other day on Anniversary Song was pretty awesome. Maybe I'll have to do that do that one again, the etude. Hey, Tiago, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Oh, good. Yeah. How can you not? You know, if you want to just get better at the guitar in general, the Girl From Ipanema is really an important song to study, and you could do it as a gypsy bossa too. I don't actually hear many people do it like that, so typically that's how I do it when I play it. Oh, wow, that's awesome, Tiago. Well, hey, we're going to get back to work on these inversions. This one, the B section takes a little bit more time, but I hope some others tune into this lesson. This is today's lesson is very thorough because I'm going through the whole B section, talk about some subs and some hacks as I'm already doing here. So just that alone is good practice. just the one chord. By the way, the modulation scheme, we ended the A section on F major 7, as you can see on the second ending. And then it goes up a half step to G flat major 7. And then we go to the 4 chord, and it's a dominant. That's a really bluesy vibe, just like a 12-bar blues, essentially, right? The 4 dominant chord. Now, that can also be thought of as turning the 1 chord to a minor 6. Okay, and that's where it's, again, that's the logic behind the subs. So you can kind of just practice G flat major 7, and then turn it to a minor 6 chord. G flat major 7, and then maybe you might have to think G flat minor 7, G flat minor 6, and that's B9. And if you do that all the way through, G flat major 7, and then minor 6, and that's, you can navigate the B section with that little soloing strategy and hack. You start off with the major 7, and then you turn it to minor 6, and then that achieves a B9 flavor. Those are really beautiful and important things to think about. Let's go on. Now it does go back to the G flat, but now we call it an F sharp. And again, I'm used to that from the fake book. You can still call it G flat if you want. I'm going to call it F sharp minor 7. So let's go ahead and get this written here. And F sharp minor 7, notice what I'm going to do first, just for the visualization purposes. I'm going to play the arpeggio on the top string. F sharp, A, C sharp, and E. And it's important that you spell out the arpeggio, or at least that you can do it if you don't say the notes. So you find F sharp and you go root, flat third, fifth, flat 7, octave. And then you put the shapes accordingly. And at that point, because you already mapped out the arpeggio, you don't have to think about the shapes, but you should say root, third, fifth, flat 7, fifth, root, sorry, third, root. And be able to just have fun. And really, don't forget, you can always go to the 6 and have fun like this. The 6 is just a prolongation, just like the rhythm player would go 7 6, so minor 7 minor 6. You can always throw that in, but right now, again, we're just gonna get the right notes. Just get the arpeggio. Let's go ahead and get that in. And then here's the shape. I'll fix the spelling. Like it's G flat. That's okay. Not a big deal. Most of you are probably reading tab. It's true. How many of you read sheet music? Probably not too many people do these days. Tab is such a popular method of learning. So, did I write that one? Oh no, I didn't write that correctly. Hold on. This is actually really good. Going through this process, I do recommend it for you. Grab a piece of chord paper or even a program like I'm using here, SoundSlice, and just go through this process for any new song you're working on. It really increases your visualization skills of the fretboard. Okay. And I had one student recently, a Patreon member rather, who says, hey, you never look at the guitar when you play. And I did offer one tip to him. I said, and this is actually, I didn't mention this though, but this is really important in visualizing the fretboard, okay? Doing this type of thing, like being a teacher and notating stuff. But I also said, use a mirror when you practice. So I think that's really kind of a good practice tip. If you don't want to always have to look down the fretboard, I'm going to stop the screen sharing for a second. Instead of looking down when you play, if you look straight ahead at yourself in the mirror, at least your hands in the mirror, then you can kind of watch yourself play. And then practice these arpeggios, F sharp minor 7, F sharp, and then you can just kind of see yourself in your mind's eye. Eventually, you don't have to look at the fretboard down like this, but you can look forward because you're practicing. You're looking at yourself and you're visualizing your hands where you're supposed to go. So that's a good practice tip. Again, if you want to get away from you're physically looking down at the fretboard, put a mirror in front of you. Practice looking at the mirror and say the notes: F sharp, A, C sharp. Well, I did look at E, C sharp, A. This fretboard has no dots, so maybe I didn't choose the right guitar for today's lesson as far as showing you where I'm at. So I might have to say the notes or the numbers: 2, 5, 9, 12. Okay, this guitar has a dot on a couple dots there, but it doesn't have the inlays to show you. So I apologize for that. Hey, I'm looking at Tiago's question. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Major 7 is the G7M. Yeah. Oh, I see. G flat. It's G. Right now we're doing G flat. I'm not sure. Oh, I don't want to confuse you by answering incorrectly. So let me get back to the PDF, or rather the sound slice here. Yeah, that would be the name, correct? Yes, capital M. But it makes me nervous to see G7 and then the M. you want to have the M in front of the G7. Typically, that's how I would normally write it. Because if I just saw G7, then I would call that a dominant. But of course, I see that big M, so I'm assuming it's going to be major 7. But typically on my charts and most fake books, it will say G, M, A, J, 7. That's the major 7 chord. Yeah, G, M, 7. Small m is minor 7. Okay. Small m is minor 7. We'll get to that right now. So this will now be called F sharp minor 7. And I've got to do this spelling stuff here. This is all I'm doing right now is just correcting the spelling. It's calling these notes as G flats, but I want it to be called F sharp. And that affects some of the other notes in the structure. Because if you were to spell technically F sharp minor 7, you would say F sharp A, C sharp E. You wouldn't say F sharp A, D flat E. It should be called C sharp, if you know what I'm saying. So that's just being a little bit more strict to the music spelling. Okay. So this course needs to be called F sharp. Of course, we know the enharmonic F sharp is equivalent sound-wise to G flat. C sharp is equivalent to D flat, right? The sound, but it's just a spelling thing. It's funny that way. That makes a difference. So this is F sharp minor 7. So F sharp and then small m, Tiago, minor 7. This is, so right here, you see this is a backwards 2-5, right? You guys see that? F sharp minor 7 to B7. So for practice, F sharp minor 7, B7. 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 That's good practice right there. You know, just going back and forth. That's 2 5s. That's like every jazz standard has 2 5s. So let me get these grids here. So again, create these little practice vamps for yourself. Isolate, and then when you're putting on the backing track through the whole song, you can have a lot more fun because you've already done the homework and the heavy lifting on the individual patterns. Okay. So this right here is some really amazing practice. I want to show you something by, let me just, this is beautiful. G flat major 7, B7, F sharp minor 7, G flat major. This is face value, by the way. We got those inversions. B7, flat 7 on top, root, 3rd, F sharp minor 7, F sharp minor 5th. Okay. And then the next word is going to be D7. But I just want to show you something that's really special and to just this portion so far. Okay. And that's changing. I'm just going to change one chord. This B7. Okay. If we called it a B9 chord, which I love to play like that, see, it has this structure in here. That's a D sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord in the B9 chord. Okay, but that can also be called F sharp minor 6. Here's F sharp minor 7, F sharp minor 6. So check this out. This ties into our the what I started with today, the routine. I always call it G flat major 7, F sharp. The G flat and F sharp are the same, by the way. F sharp minor 6, F sharp minor 7 face value. Is that awesome? G flat major 7, F sharp minor 6, F sharp minor 7. So subtle. And then it would go to D7. But we could do D F sharp minor 7 flat 5 for the D7 because that would create a D9. So you can literally pivot off of the F sharp note. Well, of course, we're calling it G flat. This is where it doesn't hurt to call it F sharp major 7, to be honest. F sharp minor 6, F sharp minor 7, F sharp half dim minor 7. That's for the D chord. And then you got to move it to G minor. Then you do the same pattern, G minor 7 flat 5. But it's diminish it. Okay. I love those hacks. Those are substitutions. It makes life easy once you figure out these little strategies, these patterns. So that's just I want to demonstrate that because that just kind of shows you how important it is to stay off of one note and just make sure you go through all the seventh chords inversions, because you're going to use them as subs to get ninth chords or other flavors for that matter. And I'll show you more hacks. Actually, this is just study number 1, face value. So study number 2, I'll show you some hacks and subs. By the way, if you're not already a Patreon member, that's where I post all of my lessons and materials. Just ask any Patreon members currently on there. There's a lot of stuff for you to look at from all styles. This is all stuff that I love to think about, play, perform, teach, and practice. That's why I do it. And I love to help others enjoy this, process of learning and playing. The process should be fun, believe it or not. It's not just about, hey, I can do it, but it's enjoying it and simplifying and breaking it down into these little chunks and achieving it. So let's go on. The next chord, this is just face value today. I'll check to see who else has arrived. Hopefully some others have joined in. I'm going to do D7 next. This is just face value again. I'm going to start on the 3rd, which is F sharp, the 5th, flat 7, and the octave, the root rather. D7 with the 3rd on top, 5th on top, flat 7, and the root. Okay. Again, have fun staying on one chord, just jamming. Okay. Go to my Sweet Georgia Brown studies or the 12-bar blues if you really want to get those dominant chords down. I've got this all written out with subs and all that stuff. These are studies that are already on Patreon that are available to you, and I'm happy to make recommendations of what to look at. I've got it for All of Me, Fly Me to the Moon, many jazz standards, Minor Swing, Sweet Georgia Brown, these 12-bar blues, of course. These inversion studies, so important, and many other songs and standards too. And then it's in a lot of my chord melodies, because that's why these are used so much. And all the Barry Harris methods, you're going to get these drop 2 downs like a champion. Okay. D7. That's too much talking. Coffee's kicking in. So again, notice how I just mapped out the arpeggio first, right? I'm just showing you this part of it, just visualizing the fretboard, as I mentioned. 3rd, 5th, flat 7, and then the root on top. So now I'm going to put the shape here. So D7, 3rd on top, D7 with the 5th on top, D7 with the flat 7 on top. Ooh, sorry. Double harder. And D7 with the root on top. And of course, I'm going to rename some of these notes. I want to see F sharp. I don't want to see G flat on a D7 chord. That's not spelled correctly. Music publisher. Okay, there we go. Those are the D7 shapes. Practice those, please. And face value, meaning there's no substitution. Okay, you see D7, you play D7. We're not seeing D7 and playing F sharp minor 7 flat 5 like I said earlier. That would be a D9 chord. That's a sub. Okay, we're not doing that. Or playing a diminished. We're just doing it face value, very vanilla. But I do want to stress how important it is to start with vanilla and then adding flavors and colors to it, fancier flavors. So that right there, those are the first 4 chords. That's actually 8 bars of the B section, just that alone. Okay, if you guys can see that, I'll zoom out a little bit here where it says B section. It's probably a little bit small on your screen. I could just do that from the G flat chord. Oh, but I watch you so sad. How have fun. That's a lot right there to practice, going up and down, back and forth. Try singing the melody on top. That's a little bit tricky. Let me get some coffee and see if anybody else is tuning into this um, lesson today. Wow, it's a light one today. It's okay. Hopefully some others will check it out. Hey, there's a new guy, Jay. Jay, welcome. That's awesome. Cheers to you, bud. Yeah, it's only 9:50 a.m. here in Portland, Oregon, so it's a little relatively early. I get up pretty early though. So, um, yeah, this is one of my favorite standards as well, and it's not it's not easy. It's kind of sometimes frowned upon because it's such a loungy tune often, but man, it's challenging. If you can navigate through the song, then you've done some woodshedding, some homework for sure. Let's get back to work. Jay, I appreciate your comment, and it's good to see you here. Okay, so now it goes to G minor 7. This is just face value. So, we were on F sharp minor 7, D7. It's really kind of a D9 because that's the melody note. And then yes, and that's a G minor 9 technically. And again, there's more subs that I'll talk about in study number 2, to where you see G minor 7, but you play B flat major 7 because that's creates B flat major 7. You can see it right here just by putting the G in the bass, creates G minor 9. And that's actually the vibe that we want for the Girl from Ipanema. So that's substitution. That's not face value anymore. That's the next level. You think off the 3rd degree, right? But that's what you start to do. And then when you have that E flat chord, the next dominant chord, you think B flat minor 6, because that creates an E flat 9. Isn't that cool? If you think about the 2 chords I just mentioned, B flat major 7, B flat minor 6. See how important it is to practice just staying on one root note. B flat major 7, B flat minor 6. And that's the next 2 chords. So again, that would bring out G minor 9, E flat dominant 9 by thinking those other chords. That's superimposing again, but that's a really important next level after face value. Okay. But today's all about face value, so don't worry about that yet. But I just wanted to kind of show you and just give you a quick demo how important it is to get the routine down, get these shapes down. Here we go. This is by the way, this is G minor 7. There we go. Root 3rd, 5th, and flat 7. Now we gotta get the shapes. Oops, I see that there. A little trigger happy with my fingers. Oh. Oh, come on. So these are your G minor 7 inversions. Let me just go ahead and get the grids on there for y'all. Oh, by the way, this is available. You can watch this. You can on this sound slice. You can do this with me live. Like I'm saving it, see, and it updates it. So you just have to re-click your browser. You can be on this with me. You can't edit it, only me, but you can have this on your screen. Just click on the link in the description, and it takes you to my Patreon page. And yes, you do have to be you can join in at the free tier. There's a lot of stuff at the free tier. Just if you want to join my community, it'd be awesome to have you all. And then it'll take you to the post, and then as you're a member, you can then click on the link, and it'll take you to the sound slice. So, and I'm updating it like that by putting save each time, so it keeps updating. So again, you can push play and practice with this. This is what it's all about. This is a great practice things. Yeah, I'm going to make it bigger. I'm sorry. I bet some of you wanted to say, I wish it was bigger. Well, here it is. Look at this. G minor. I love like Jay and I are just chatting about in the comments. It's fun just to isolate hey, let's just practice G minor 7, D7. Oh, and that's kind of an interesting movement because it's a backwards 5-1. Like this, if I play swing, you know what I'm saying? So D7, G minor 7, D7, G minor 7. Again, just have fun going back and forth, being able to navigate those and creating little melodies. You know, in that case, I was demonstrating a kind of a swing style as if I was doing this. And I might even do this G minor 7, G minor 6, G minor 7, 6, 6. And that will, of course, bleed into your soloing because you know your arpeggios, or you're working on your arpeggios, and you do the same type of substitutions in the thought process. We're getting really close, you guys. The next one is E flat 7. So again, arpeggio, I'm teaching you the method here. You got the third, the fifth, the flat 7, and the root. That's the E flat. So I'm going to go backwards. E flat, flat 7, fifth, third, G, B flat, D flat, and E flat. Okay, those you want to be able to spell. So even if you're away from your guitar, I do recommend this. I know many of you Patreon members who aren't necessarily watching this live because you're at work, doing other things, hopefully enjoying yourself. I say grab a piece of paper, take whatever song you're working on. If in this case, Girl From Ipanema, write down all the chords, G flat major 7, B7, and then spell it next to it. So you literally write it out. That makes you think about it. You might have to play it on the guitar, and that's great too. You'll be able to do it away from the guitar eventually. You might arpeggiate it down here, G flat major 7, B7. This is what I call the easy arpeggio method, F sharp minor 7, D7, G minor 7, E flat 7, A minor 7, D7, G minor 7, C7. That's the whole B section there with easy arpeggios. Then you say, oh, I got to spell it. G flat, B flat, D flat, F, B7, B, D sharp, F sharp, and A. G, F sharp minor 7, F sharp, A, C sharp. So I'm showing you with the arpeggios because these chords are not necessarily in order if you don't know their spelling. So there's different ways to go about spelling these and learning it. So let's get that E flat 7. And then let's get the shapes. So here it is with the third on top. Here it is with the fifth on top. And the best thing you can do for the dominant chords, you know what I'm going to say, and I have studies already on Patreon, the best thing you can do is the blues, the 12-bar blues. That's probably the most fun element. I had to play the shapes and chatting. And then the root on top. So I'm visualizing the form doing, okay? Saving it. And again, the link is in the description if you want to be on the sound slice with me live as I'm updating and putting save. Each time you can reload your browser, renew your browser, whatever they call it. Update your browser. No, don't update your browser. Just whatever. I'm not a techie. So if you're just tuning in, cheers. Thanks for joining. Today is a pretty packed lesson, practice session, and discussion on all things Girl From Ipanema with chords and harmony and theory. The next chord is But Each Day. Oh, I got to label this before I forget. It's right, E flat 7, inversions. Well, not B7. E flat 7. Now we're on A minor 7, and it goes 3, 6, 2, 5 in the key of F. A minor 7, D7. That's your sixth chord, but it's dominant. And then G minor 7, C7. Okay. 2/5. That's the proper 2/5. But 3/6 2/5 is generally the terminology you'd say. That was one route there. I'm just kind of piecing it together. But each day, here's another route. Here's the other route. There's 4 routes. Or right here. And we can just practice out 3/6 2/5. That's a sub for 1/6 2/5, you guys. That's huge. That's huge. So what I'm about to do right here, even though it's going to show A minor 7, D7, G minor 7, C7, you can sub that for 1/6 2/5. 1/6 with the dominant 6. That's happier second here. You can do 3/6 2/5. Just like you tag this at the end of a song. Sometimes I have to stop myself from doing some subs. I do the diminished subs so much, and man, it's hard not to do it. If you all know what I'm talking about. If not, you check. I've done specific lessons with only the diminished substitution being used for dominant chords. Please check those out. Let me check to see who's here and if there's anybody new in the comments. Not yet. The diminished sub, I guess I got to show you what I mean, because it's I have to stop myself, but it's makes life easy and it sounds good. So that's why I say, when it's easy and it sounds good, you got to do it. But here it is, A minor 7, and then we diminish it. And then G minor 7, and then we diminish it. I love that. A minor 7, I'll show it to you here with a root on top. It's easier to see. A minor 7, diminish it. That's a sub for D7 flat 9. There's no bass, so see. We take the D7, we raise the root up a half step, we get the flat 9. But now we lost the root, so you have to assume that the bass player or the other guitar player is playing the root. Or not. Maybe you don't even care about the root. And you just do this. Do it everywhere. Diminish. The diminish is easy to get that in. So good. We love that diminished sub, and we love it for soloing. Diminish it. Diminish it. You can just do all your arpeggios, and diminish becomes every other one. So that's how easy it is. You just diminish everything, diminish all those dominant chords. Do you always want to do that? Not necessarily. That gives you a flat 9. So that kind of be saying, yeah, I always want a flat 9 chord in my chords. So on the B section for the Girl From Ipanema, we actually went natural 9s, not flat 9s. But it works on different occasions. But it always sounds good on the 3/6 2/5. That's what I'm saying. You can't go wrong with it. Check out my autumn leaves study. That one is very, very thorough, because I apply it to every dominant chord. Check out my Fly Me to the Moon. This is for Patreon members. Fly Me, because it's all on Patreon. Check out my Fly Me to the Moon chord inversion studies, just like I'm doing today with Girl From Ipanema. I have the same concept applied to it. So every dominant chord, I'm subbing out diminished 7 chords. So sometimes when I'm teaching, I have to stop myself and not do the diminished sub. So hopefully you know what I'm talking about. By the way, if you're just tuning in, don't forget to do this. If you're enjoying these live streams, that helps my channel and helps me know that these live streams are enjoyed. And type in the comments. Love to see who else is here. Jay, I appreciate you being here. Jay has another comment too. A local favorite. Oh, wow. Where are you located, Jay? Oh, North Dakota. Duh. That's cool. That's cool. Oh, wow. A couple years ago. Yeah, when I perform it live, it's really, the only difference is the rhythm guitar. Are they doing this? The finger style, or are they doing this? Kind of a gypsy bossa. course, maybe the soloing style. So yeah, this translates, of course, to the gypsy bossa style, gypsy jazz, and you can play your gypsy jazz licks and Django style licks and phrases to make it sound more gypsy jazz versus Brazilian jazz. Let's finish this out, you guys. Appreciate to see if anybody else wants to comment. I have to say this again, though. If you are on Patreon and you're watching this lesson on Patreon, please click so you're watching it on YouTube instead of Patreon. That way I'll know, who's here. Well, it doesn't show your name, but I'll know that there's folks watching. So don't just watch it embedded on Patreon. Please click over to YouTube by just clicking where you see the YouTube icon. Then it clicks over to YouTube. And then you can type in the comments too and chat with me, because a lot of these live streams are a continuation from private lessons or diamond tier lessons on Patreon. So, and they're a little bit more in depth often, and for everybody really to enjoy. So hold on, let's get back to this. We got to finish this out, you guys. We're getting close. This is a long one today, I told you. So A minor 7 inversions. I hope you have these down already. I want to start here on the flat 7. Then I'm going to go to the root. And again, take your time, grab your guitar, do this with me. And then the third, I say third, that's C. You got to spell it. I'm not going to lie to you. The only way you're going to get better at this is if you make sure you can spell your chords. A minor 7 equals A, C, E, G. A, C, E, G. And then you got to have the shape with it. I'm going to start on the flat 7 on top, root on top, third on top, and the fifth on top. And again, that's the routine that I want you to be able to do. And keep saying the word on top, okay? So that it's on top. Keep track of these. Oh, shh. What did I do here? 9, 7. And now this is just all tab stuff. Just visualize chord shape. Okay. Why does it say palm mute? You guys don't have to palm mute that. Get rid of that PM. Speaking of grids, let's get these grids here for you all too. Remember this, you can be on this sound slice with me as I'm doing it too. You just have to refresh. That's the word I was thinking. Refresh your browser. See how I push save? Now it's saved. So again, you can have the link to this sound slice. It's in the description and it's free. So if you are on my Patreon community at any tier, that just means free, basically. But of course, you can have access to 5,400 posts as a paid member on my Patreon community too. I've been posting this is my 8th year now, coming up. Posting materials and lessons daily for the last 3 years plus. It's now become a little, oops, I don't want that double bar. That's a little game. Just make sure I post some sort of brilliant, nugget. A minor 7, man, that's the most important one. I know I was going to get off the screen and talk about the dominant 7s for you in a second, but I will. But check out the A minor 7s. Have fun. I'm just hitting that open A string because we can. And then I'm hitting those inversions. And I'm just, again, talking about how to enjoy the process of this. It's not just about, hey, I could do the B section all the way through the Girl From Ipanema. It's not just about that. It's about, hey, I could just play A in the bass and do the plays. Kariba, yeah. here's a good little hack that you could do. Play A minor. This is a little separate little practice thing that we could do. A minor 7, B minor 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, A minor 7. It's so easy. Just slide it up the shape that you're on. A minor 7, B minor 7. You can just go through that. That creates what they call a Dorian vibe, just like you're doing this. Or yeah, I know what you're gonna say, you guys. Moon dance, right? Seriously, or it might be Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. That's a Dorian. Ella Fitzgerald used that on Summertime, really slow, like Summertime, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's a Dorian feel. So check it out with chords, A minor 7. This is a little fun study. B minor 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, A minor 7, B minor 7. You just play. The word is playing, Plane, playing. You playing through those inversions. And you can have a lot of fun just navigating, creating kind of a Dorian vibe there. So that's a cool trick. Of course, there's all the cool Barry Harris stuff too that you can start to do with these inversions to create more movement and just isolate it and do chord melodies. It's super fun. The other thing I was going to say before I finish this out is just showing you how to practice this. Just have a lot of fun with the 12-bar blues. So like G7, 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 G7. These are just dominant chords only, just old school blues. C7, 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 back to G7, C7. 4 chord, right? C7, back to G7, D7 to 5, C7 if you want a quick change, and it's G7. C7. So again, just dominant chords. You're going to master your dominant chords. G7, say it. D7, let's just stay only on the 5 for the 2 bars. And G7. C7, say it. G7. 3, 6, 2, 5. There's a little Dorian hack. A minor 7, B minor 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, G. There's a little 2-5 there with using the planing of the minor 7. There's a lot of fun little things that you could do like that. But that I started off with just a basic 12-bar blues, but then I added a little jazz blues to it, and all minor 7s, 3, 6, 2, 5s and stuff too. Let's finish out Sweet George, or not Sweet George Brown. What song are we doing? Girl From Ipanema. Thanks about that. Too many songs going on in my teaching materials. Girl From Ipanema, here we go. Let's finish it out, you guys. You're doing awesome. And I'm hoping you got a lot of cool tips and ideas for practicing out of today's session. And remember, the link is in the description. You can do this live with me and watch me, and also be on the sound slice too as I'm editing it. We are on, but each day that she walks through the sea. Oh, this needs to be D7. I screwed up here. This is actually just 1 bar. Nobody corrected me. So let me see if I could get this down to just 1 bar. Let me clear the grids here. Okay, screwed up. Got a little sidetracked here. So I'm going to make these quarter notes in that case. And I got to show you one other little hack that's really cool. That's using tritone substitution for the dominant chord. That's very important. We already talked about that with the A section, but it can also be used at the B section because that's kind of what Jovine was thinking. That's tritone sub. Most people, the chart would say D7, flat 9, flat 5, but that's really just an A flat 7 chord. So all you need to do is play A minor 7 to A flat 7. I know it sounds dark. The melody notes here. Maybe you want a natural 9. I often like a natural 9, but flat 9 would be what Joby instructed. G minor 7, C7 flat 9, flat 5. That's F sharp 7. So it becomes a chromatic tritone substitution. A minor 7, A flat 7, G minor 7, G flat 7. And we can practice that everywhere again. Okay, so that would be next level, perhaps, or you could do the diminished sub if you want to, as I was demonstrating. Let's do these as quarter notes. It's going to be a little bit more intense, but it's good practice. Now, grids on here. And grab your guitar if you're not practicing right now. This is a good time to do it as I'm filling in this PDF ultimately is going to be. And this will be available on Patreon. Again, this is the PDF. And the sound slice is already available right now to you. This is D7. So again, I could just I'll walk you through it. I was trying to avoid copying and pasting just so I could show you through the process. D7, G minor 7, C7. These are just face value. Then back to the last A section. G7, G minor 7, C7, or G flat 7, and then F major 7. That's the tritone 7 that's built in, and then G flat 7, and then back to the top. And then we're done. We're so close, you guys. D7 here. I gotta finish fast before my computer runs out of batteries too. You know what? I'm just gonna do some copying, pasting. I said I was gonna do that, but I lied. That's what Arnold Schwarzenegger would say. I lied. So, if any of you are Schwarzenegger fans from the 80s movies, who can name that movie? I lied. I'll be impressed if you can. He probably said it in a few movies, however. Let's see. Man, Sound Slice does not like me. There. Okay, now here's what I'm gonna do. Oh, I was gonna do it, but I won't do it. G minor 7 to C7. I am just copying and pasting up here, but I gotta reduce these down. It's just I gotta do this. Bam, bam, copy paste. But at this point, you've already done these inversions, so yeah, I know you know it all. You can do it. Turn these to quarter notes. This is bothering me. It's Sound Slice. That it does this funky sideways chord grid. It's like, why are you putting that chord grid over there? I don't want it on the side there. Come on. Don't get me wrong, I love Sound Slice, but there's still some bugs. Get rid of that. If by chance my computer shuts off before this lesson is finished, I'm so close. I appreciate you guys tuning into today. Don't forget to do this. That way I know you guys are enjoying it, or type in the comments too. I'd love to see your names. I love to see where you're at too. We have North Dakota represented today, Atlanta. We've got Brazil. Brazil. And where else? Who else is here? Okay, the last chord is C7. So, if we had a C7 up here, didn't we? Do I have to write it out? Yes, that's being lazy right now, yeah. But my battery's about to die. So, again, if my computer shuts off, I appreciate you guys being here. I'm gonna bust this out really fast. Let's see. C7 is this? Oh, we have no. Oh, quarter notes. Good. Let's see. Come on. What's going on here? 3. Oops. I think I heard a little Iron Man in there. Did you guys hear that? That's awesome. That was like just a little treat. Yes, Iron Man is a pentatonic melody, by the way. Minor pentatonic melody, like rock riffs. There we go. C7 inversions. We are finished. Again, I would use tritone sub often and do just a little hint for study number 2 that I'll post next time. Maybe I'll do it a live stream. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a live stream with the fancier subs and the hacks that I was demonstrating today, such as right here. But this is just C7 here, plain old, I call it face value. The grids for y'all. Thank you all for tuning in today. And the last A section, I am just going to copy and paste. I'm not going to do anything fancy because you guys are rewarded with that after getting through this whole song here. So we're done. That's the end of the B section. I'm going to check to see the chat one more time to see if anybody else has joined in. Appreciate it. It's a lot of fun hanging out with you all. Having some coffee and jamming with you. So I could just do this. I don't know about that. It's not letting me drag it, copy paste. So I just say go back to the top. I had to say da capo. But I'm just going to get out of this. It's not important to do this part right now. This will be available. The link is in the description. I'm saving it. It's all available to you. I'll post it on Patreon officially with the sound slice and the PDF. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Great to see y'all. Keith, George. Great to see you. And then, George, where are you from, bud? Sound Slice is free. This particular lesson is free, and it's free to use. The Sound Slice is a really great program to use. Oh, man. Southern Cal, hopefully you're safe down there. Yeah, I got it. So let's do it once before my computer dies. F major 7, the whole song. G7. I won't do the repeat on the A7, on the A section. G minor 7, C7. Oh, tritone sub, G flat 7. So you have to think about this myself. And then F major 7, F major 7. Ready for the B section? This is what we talked about today. Oh, G flat major 7. Slow down a little bit. G flat major 7s. B7, 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 F sharp minor 7, D7, G minor 7. Notice I'm just going low to high. We can play a little game later. E flat 7. We can play the game of just kind of making different patterns. Oh, that's okay. And then A minor 7 like this, and mixing the direction. D7. G minor 7, and then C7. So like for the B section, and then we can do those subs I was talking about, which is really sweet. But this is just face value. Face value can just means right on the root. Set up your backing track. I use iReal Pro. Do you guys use iReal Pro? I'm just going to set it really fast to the B section for practice. And I'm going to just loop it. Okay. Just B section, just for practice. B7. F sharp minor 7. B7. G minor 7. E flat 7. A minor 7, D7. Also A minor. Maybe D7. Right on 7. See, that's not pretty good there. Oh, I have a loop. D7. F sharp minor 7. Maybe that planing that I showed you earlier. D7. G minor 7. And E flat 7. I'm going to use a dim 7 sub right here. See how easy that is? A dim 7 sub. And then dim 7 sub. I'm going to start high time. D7. Yes, I did D7. Fun. F sharp minor 7. Say it. You got to say it so you know chord you're on D7. And later we'll substitute. Instead of D7, we'll do D9. It's hard for me not to resist this because I do this so much. I see D7 on the chart, I do this. That's D9. That's A minor 6. That can also be called F sharp minor 7 flat 5. That's what I was saying is like you can start to do these cool subs for the B section. You could go F sharp major 7. Notice I call it F sharp, G flat major 7, F sharp major 7, and then D minor 6. And then D minor 7 flat 5. And then you got that you're navigating through this, minor 7, and then minor 7 flat 5. So you have G flat major 7, F sharp minor 7, or F sharp minor 6. I got to try it. F sharp minor 7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. And that's the first 4 chords right there. I'll show you what I mean. Let me do this again before my computer dies really fast. Hopefully you could hear the mix there. I don't hear a lot of piano probably. But check this out. I'll show you just in this one position how you can practice this. G flat major 7. Ready? 3, 4. That's for the G flat major 7. For the B9, I'm doing this. That creates a B9. That's F sharp. Minor 7, minor 7 flat 5, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. That's for the D9. So that's how you use the sub negative here. And then return it to minor 7 flat 5 for the E flat. That creates a 9. And here I'm going to do this. I'm going to go down tritone sub, half 7. That creates a flat 5. So again, it's really fun to get these inversions. Here's minor 7, here's minor 6. And then we do the F sharp minor 7 for the F sharp minor 7. And then for the D7 chord, then do F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So that's all D9. So you just stay in that one area, one position. Then G minor 7. And I'm going to do G minor 7 flat 5 for the E flat. This is study number 2. Steady, stay. I'm going to diminish it. Easy. Diminish is too easy. It's nice. Then I'll do the next inversion here. And now I'm working through the whole song, the whole progression within one area. I'm not doing the. That's a good study, but that's not always practical to go up and down the arpeggios. That's just for practicing. It's really nice to stay in one location and then navigate through the progression, okay, and have some fun. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today. Hope you enjoy the lesson. We'll see you all next time. See you on Patreon. Cheers.